Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ted Gardner, and I'm an interviewer for the Library of Congress Oral History Project. Here we are at the Public Library of Cincinnati, and we have the honor and the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Harry Taylor today. Here we are on the 30th of October already, 2008. Harry, where were you born?
Where?
Where were you born?
In New Richmond, Ohio.
You were born in New Richmond, Ohio?
Yeah.
My goodness, lived there all your life, huh?
No. I moved around a little.
Oh, okay. Where did you go to, well, tell us about your family. You have brothers, sisters?
I have a son, two sons. One a natural by a first wife, and the other is an adopted son.
Mm-hmm. Did you have brothers and sisters when you were growing up?
Yeah. I had two brothers and two sisters.
Oh my, nice family. Where did you go to elementary school?
Milford, I think. Milford, Ohio.
Okay. And went through high school there too, did you?
I what?
High school?
Yeah, same place.
Same place, Milford.
Milford.
Okay, very good. What about your family? Did your parents in business or have a farm or what?
I'm married.
I mean, you grew up with two brothers and two sisters.
Yeah.
What about your parents?
They're both dead.
Uh-huh. What did your father do?
He was a troubleshooter for the Cincinnati Gas and Electric Company.
Oh my goodness, I should say. And going through school, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Going through school, did you have any particular interests, hobbies, activities, athletics or anything?
I like to play golf.
Okay, great. All right. What about, now let's see, what year were you born in?
1923.
1923, okay. Well, that was, those were very, very interesting times, the 1920s, 1930s, and you spent most of your boyhood through the 1930s. Did you have jobs in high school or anything like that? Tell us about your school days.
I got involved in many different athletic events.
Okay.
And I it was right on the tip of my tongue. That's the way it goes sometimes.
Oh, that's right. Don't worry about that. Now, maybe we can come back to it. But anyway, you know, there are certain times in a person's life when great things happen. Do you remember what you were doing on Pearl Harbor Day in 1941?
I was just graduated from high school.
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
And was assigned to the Army in France.
Where did you do your first training? Where did you get your basic training?
Camp Bowie in Texas, and Fort Hood, also in Texas.
Right.
And that's about all I can remember.
Do you remember your experiences going through training? A boy out of high school, fairly young, and going away from home for maybe the first time?
All I can remember is my first assignment was Fort Hood, Texas.
Uh-huh.
And from there I went to what is that program, Paula?
You mean training program?
Yeah.
Well,
What?
Was it the Army Specialized Training Program?
was it Army training program?
Yeah. Drexel Institute of Technology.
Oh, very good, very good. Well, that's a very, very fine school, I should say. You had, by this time, you had, they had selected you to do a certain kind of training and so forth?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
What, was it in the infantry or in the artillery or what?
In the infantry.
You were trained to be an infantryman?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, very good. Do you remember, did you travel by train when you went to Texas from here?
Yeah. Travel by train.
Travel by train, and any particular instances that you remember, you know, humorous times or people that you met or anything like that? You were a young fella, and this is all kind of life-forming, you know?
Yeah. I remember one time when we were, my squad was pinned down in a basement of an old house. And I don't know how this happened or why, but one of the members of our squad came to rest. He sat down on a bunch of bottles. And every time he moved, it made a noise. And we kept trying to shut him up because you could hear the Germans walking across the room above you.
Oh my gosh.
But luckily he didn't look in the basement.
Uh-huh. So you went across the ocean on a big troop ship, did you? Or?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. What was that experience like? First time you'd been on an ocean?
Yeah. I don't remember much about that. It was very interesting.
Well, yes, I should say so. What outfit did you go overseas with?
What outfit?
Yeah,
84th Division.
84th Division.
Yeah, with Bradley's.
Oh yeah, General Omar Bradley.
Yeah.
Okay. And was that comprised of a lot of fellows from one certain area, like Pennsylvania or Ohio, or do you remember about that?
No, I think it was from all over.
All over, uh-huh. Okay. And you were trained to be a rifleman, an infantryman?
Yeah.
Okay. Where did you, do you remember where you debarked or embarked from? From New York or
Yeah, New York.
Miami or where?
From New York.
Uh-huh. Okay. So where did you land in Europe?
In England first. And spent a little bit of time there and then went across the channel to France.
Oh, yes. Now, that was in what year was that? 1940?
1941 or 1943.
43 when you got to England.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you in the D-Day operation, 1944?
Was I what?
Were you in the D-Day operation, 1944? June the 6th, 1944?
No.
Omaha Beach, Utah Beach?
No.
Where did you go ashore in France after you crossed from England?
I'm not sure. It was Le Havre
Oh,
rings
okay.
a bell,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's about all I can remember.
What about your experience besides the one that you told about being in that old building? That was somewhere in France, was it?
Yeah. No, I think it was in Germany.
Oh, it was in Germany, okay. Was that your first combat experience
Yeah.
in Germany?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anything else you can remember about that time or anything?
No.
You know, your family or people want to know about your experience. If you can remember some of those things, that would be very interesting for everybody to know.
I can't remember anything else.
Your wife wants to tell you something. You got any ideas?
Cauliflower field?
Huh?
Remember the cauliflower field?
Cauliflower?
Cauliflower field?
Oh, I think it was someplace in Holland or that we were going across the Rhine plain, and it was quite interesting. We got pinned down in a cauliflower patch, and I loved cauliflower, so I got quite a bit of cauliflower eaten. And what was that?
You told me you put some in your backpack.
Oh, yeah. Earlier in the year, when we was invading England, we got to England, we got into England, Great Britain, and my backpack, I never found any use for it, so I had thrown it away. And of course, when you come to a rest area, they make sure you had all the equipment you were supposed to have.
Mm-hmm.
And I had thrown that knapsack away, and by golly, they found it and gave it to me again.
They weren't going to let you go off without it, huh?
Yeah, no.
Did you meet any people in England? Were you there for any period of time before you went across the channel?
No.
Uh-huh. Okay. Now going into Le Havre, do you remember going into Le Havre, France?
No, it was one of the beaches that we, not in the original invasion, but when we did go ashore, it was on one of the beaches. I can't remember which one, whether it was Omaha or
Uh-huh.
what one. That's about it.
What about working your way across France into Germany?
I spent most of the time in a hospital.
No, Harry, that's when you were coming home, but going.
Going across toward Germany.
Yeah, after you landed on the ship in England and you were marching into Europe. From France, marching into Europe.
I can't remember.
Cauliflower field, I remember that.
Any other particular experiences that you remember?
No.
How about walking? Remember what you told me you did when you walked?
Oh, had been going for about quite a length of time. We were on a 25-mile hike, and you heard of people walking in their sleep.
Uh-huh.
But I slept in my walking.
What woke you up?
I fell in a ditch.
Really?
Yeah.
My goodness sakes. Well, were you the only one that did that, or were others doing the same
I
thing
don't
as
really
you?
remember.
You can't remember. Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny. How far did you get into Germany, Harry? How far? You say you crossed the Rhine?
Yeah,
You remember crossing the Rhine?
not very well. I can't remember anything else.
How far did you get into Germany? Did you get to Berlin, or you
No,
got to Heidelberg, or where did you get? You remember Stuttgart? Any of those places?
no.
I think you were mostly out in the little
Out in the-
countryside.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Well, if you can think of anything, you know, people would like to hear your experiences. That's why we're doing the interview. If you could. Any other humorous experiences that you can think of?
No.
Were you in combat?
Yeah. I was on a 81 millimeter combat team,
Oh, yes.
and we fired a lot of shells, and we were supposed to fire a smoke mission so they could get over the bridge, and I guess it must have been successful.
Do you remember going over the bridge?
No, I don't. We went along the Rhine plain.
Yeah.
It was the area between, I can't remember what it was between.
Huh.
The Rohr River, I think, and the Rhine River.
Yeah.
And
Tell
that's,
him what you did on that
Huh?
team. Tell him what you did on that four-man team that you were on. The 81 millimeter team. Tell him what your job was.
I aimed the gun.
You were the aimer.
Hmm.
Oh, good for you.
I carried the sight.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Hard job.
Yeah, well, a very important job, my gosh. Have you had any contact with any of your former comrades or anything like that?
Yeah, it's been a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
One of them was Alan Thorlickson, he was from San Francisco.
Oh, yes.
And I can picture this other guy, but I can't remember his name.
Did you have anybody from Ohio anybody else from your high school go with you at the same time or anything like that?
No. I had one guy that was really mad at me for picking him to do a certain duty,
Uh-huh.
and he didn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
What kind of duty was that?
I don't remember.
Uh-huh.
Probably KP.
Peeling spuds and things like that, huh?
Yeah.
How did you like the Army chow?
As I don't remember whether it was good or bad, so it must have been all right.
You survived on it, didn't you?
Yep.
In this gun crew that you had, the 4 men operating this 81 millimeter cannon, were you firing? Was this kind of like a lobbing shells?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lobbing. I guess that's the best way to describe it is aiming at
Right.
places along the river,
Uh-huh.
the Rhine River, or Rhone, I don't know which one it was. They weren't far apart.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it.
Where were you, do you remember where you were when you heard about the atom bombs in Japan? August of 1945?
Yeah, I was already out of the Army then. I was in Fletcher General Hospital if I was still in the Army. I got discharged from there with,
Were you wounded?
yeah,
Oh, you were?
yeah.
Well, tell us about that.
Well, I don't really remember much about it. All I remember was that we were in this field hospital.
Now, where did you get wounded?
Where did you get wounded?
The barn?
I was in a barn and with part of my troop,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know. I can't.
Was it, you wounded by rifle fire or shrapnel?
Mortar.
Or exploding
Mortar
shells or what?
Mortar shells.
Mortar shells
Yeah.
from the Germans.
I hope it was from them. I don't think we were firing that close to us. See, the more straight up and down is fired, the closer the shell's getting to where you're firing from. So if sometimes it even blew the thing back behind you.
Uh-huh.
And
Right.
Harry, talk about when you were in the barn, what was happening?
When you were in the barn.
Before you got shot. What were you doing in the barn?
hiding
From who?
from the Germans.
Okay, so you were, how many of you were in the barn? You remember? All of your team?
Yeah, I think so.
All four of you?
Yeah.
Okay. And the shells were falling around you and that sort of thing?
Yeah.
How did you get wounded? I mean, where were you wounded?
In the barn on my leg.
In your legs?
Yeah.
Okay. You got the Purple Heart?
Yeah.
Okay.
Classified as 50% disabled.
I see. Well
What
then,
about the man next to you, Harry, in the barn? What happened to the man next to you?
He got killed.
oh really? One of your comrades was killed?
Yeah.
Is that so?
He was a little West Virginia
Uh-huh.
boy.
Oh, that's sad. Well, that's very sad. Well, you were very fortunate that you were not killed yourself.
Yeah.
I should say so. How long were you there before you were rescued or evacuated?
Not very long. It wasn't fast enough for me.
Uh-huh. But it's from our own troops came and got you out?
Yeah. We was there was a little field hospital
Oh, yeah.
that they loaded you into to take you to a field hospital,
Uh-huh.
and from there they put you on a plane and flew back to England. And I was in England for, I can't remember how long. It was too long.
Several months?
Yeah, a couple, no, not several, I wouldn't call it several, but it was enough. Too much to remember.
I see. Well, then coming So you got well enough there in England, and then they brought you back to the States, right?
Yeah, the Fletcher General Hospital
And
in
what-
Cambridge,
In Cambridge.
Ohio.
Okay, all right. You came back on a troop ship from England?
Yeah.
Do you remember anything about that trip?
Well, when they operated on my shoulder, where a piece of shrapnel was there, they I didn't get. They didn't load. I was the first one or the last one they loaded on the ambulance to get back to a field hospital. They didn't move fast enough for me. I wanted to get out of there and get back where you could feel safe.
Yes, I should say, yeah.
But on the ship, Harry, coming back from,
Coming back from England
on
to
the ship,
to
would
the
you tell me
States.
about that?
What?
When you were on the ship, still sick, wounded, coming back from England, didn't you stay below deck all the time?
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Well, all I can remember is there was one guy who he took a loaf of French bread and cut the ends off of it, and he drained the rubbing alcohol through that loaf of bread to get the color out of it anyway, and then we drink it.
That's pretty hot stuff.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. Yeah. But it was just rubbing alcohol?
Yeah.
Good golly. That's pretty tough to take. You're lucky you survived that, Harry. My goodness. Now, were all the fellas in your group in the barn? Were they wounded as well, besides the man who was killed? Were you the only one who was wounded, for example?
I don't really know.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Okay. What else can you tell us about your experience now? You had very, very dangerous times, and you were with a number of men, and you traveled quite a distance in Europe. Can you think of any other instances that you would like to have people know about in this interview?
No, I can't.
Uh-huh. When you got back to the States, you came right back to Cambridge, Ohio?
No, it was a little stopover, a couple of days in Boston, I think it was.
Uh-huh.
And then we shipped over to Cambridge,
I see.
Ohio.
That was about as close to home as they could get you? Is that the idea?
I don't know. I think so, but I know I didn't wait long to ask for a leave of absence or so I could get all the way home. From one interesting thing that happened I got a 3-day leave or some kind of a furlough, and I can't remember what I was going to say.
You were hitchhiking.
Huh?
You were hitchhiking.
Yeah,
Who picked you up?
Oh, you hitchhiked?
from Cambridge to Milford, Ohio,
Uh-huh.
and I can't.
Who picked you up?
Huh?
Who picked you up? How did you get a ride?
I thumbed my ride, and a Ohio State patrolman picked me up, and he said he wasn't doing anything that day, so he just drove me right home.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
Boy, I'll say, you were lucky to get,
yeah,
you were lucky, I should say. Well, you know, hitchhiking was very common in those days. We all grew up doing things like that. And I mean, he brought you right to your house in
Yeah.
New Richmond?
no, in Milford,
In Milford?
yeah.
Okay, tell us about that.
That was,
Can you remember the ride home?
not really. I don't remember what,
Okay.
Who was at home when you came home?
who was at home.
Yeah, when you showed up at the door.
My mother,
Yeah.
and I don't know who else.
You told me they were very surprised to see you.
My sister-in-law
Yeah.
and my brother.
I'll bet they were very happy to see you.
Yes, they were all involved in the war. With one was in the Marines and the South Pacific. The other was in the Air Force
Uh-huh.
in North Africa. And so we had a little family reunion.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Well, I should say. Now, were you the youngest of the family or the oldest or what?
I was the middleman.
Uh-huh.
I had two older brothers, an older sister. No, my sister was a little younger than I, and another sister.
Mm-hmm.
Baby brother.
Huh?
And a baby brother,
And a baby brother.
Bob.
Huh?
Don't forget Bob.
Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Now, are they still alive?
Yeah.
Everybody's alive? That's wonderful.
No, not everybody. My older brother, Harold, he passed away.
Uh-huh.
And my other older brother, Charles, he passed away. And my sister, Betty, is still alive. My sister, sister Shirley is still alive, and that's it.
And your brother Bob.
Huh?
Bob.
And my brother Bob, yeah.
He's
Okay.
gonna divorce you.
Huh?
Bob's gonna divorce you.
Yeah?
You forget him all the time. Harry, tell him about when you were in the hospital, how long you were there and what condition you were in and, I mean, what,
Do you remember what it was like being in the hospital and the
you
care
were there a long
that
time.
the care that you got and so forth?
All I remember is when I woke up and in the bed and had a apparatus above the bed that they had ropes and going through that hold my foot up like this.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why that was, but they did it.
Well, the wounds that you suffered were all in your leg,
Yeah, I had a piece of shrapnel in my shoulder.
in your shoulder as
It was
well.
just, it was just in the muscle. It didn't hit any bones
Oh,
or.
that's lucky. Were you able to walk? I mean, did you have to be carried out of the barn and so forth?
I had to be carried out of there.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that was tough. That was very, very tough. Well, tell us about being in the hospital at Fletcher. You remember anything about that?
No.
Did people come to see you when you were there in Cambridge?
Yeah. My brother Harold, who was home from North Africa, he was in the Air Force,
Uh-huh.
and I don't think Charles got there, but my sisters both came to visit, and everything was hunky-dory.
But you were there a long time.
Yeah, well, much of the time was on furlough.
But how long were you there?
How long?
Uh-huh.
About a year.
10 months.
Really, in the hospital?
Yep.
My goodness, that's a long time.
Yeah,
Your wounds were very, very serious then, weren't they?
my leg, it's, yeah.
Gosh. Well, you are under the supervision of the Disabled American Veterans, the
Yeah.
DAV?
Yeah,
Uh-huh. You get assistance from them?
yeah, I get a pension
Uh-huh.
From the VA.
from the VA.
From the VA, okay. Have you had time here in our local VA hospital?
Yeah,
A lot.
A lot. Oh, goodness sakes.
Harry, tell him about when you were in Fletcher General, like talk about your cast, and driving the car.
oh, as soon as they got a long leg cast on this leg,
Uh-huh.
and I got a furlough, and the car wasn't an automatic, it was a gear shift, and so I had to find some way to push the clutch
Uh-huh.
in when I shifted gears.
Right.
So I took a broom and cut the handle off and put a rope loop around the bottom of it so I could fasten it right over the clutch. And I'd push the clutch in and work the gear shift on this side then.
Oh.
And I got around pretty good.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You didn't have any accidents or anything?
No.
Well, now, Harry, when you got back and you got out of the hospital, what did you do? Were you able to go to work or go back to school or what?
I went back, finished school, finished college.
Where did you go to college?
Miami University in
Oh, my.
Oxford.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And you lived on the campus there, did you?
Yeah. I lived in a fraternity house,
Uh-huh.
and
What was your fraternity?
the Deeks,
Okay.
A dirty deek.
the Dirty Deeks,
Uh-huh.
Epsilon,
Delta
Kappa.
Epsilon Kappa.
yeah.
Yeah. What was your field of study, Harry?
It was accounting.
Oh, good for you.
But tell him why you picked accounting.
Why did you pick accounting?
Because I couldn't get anything else.
No.
Well,
Remember the testing they gave you?
yeah. No, I don't.
When you told me about the Army tested you and told you that they paid for you to go to school if you were an accountant?
Yeah.
Isn't that true?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So tell us about it.
Yeah, that's what we need to know about.
Well,
How about your family? Would they like to hear about some of your experiences? Or are we?
I don't know.
It's like pulling teeth. But really, why did you, tell us about how you ended up being an accountant.
How I
How
wanted,
you ended up going to college? Why'd you go to college?
Yeah, how did,
because I had, while I was still in the Army, I had been in Army Specialized Training Program,
yes?
which I graduated from college. Not yet.
So you used the GI Bill?
Yeah.
I thought you
No,
used
I
to
went in
go-
Public Law 16. That gave me a spending money
Uh-huh.
along with paying the tuition.
Very good.
Yeah.
I'll
And it
bet.
paid your mom, didn't it too?
Huh?
Didn't they pay your mom some money too?
Yeah,
Yeah. Public Law 16.
Uh-huh, I see. Did you enjoy your college days?
yeah, pretty much so.
Uh-huh.
I was a member of the fraternity, the Drunken Deeks, Delta Kappa Epsilon.
Right.
Tell them the story about, some of your stories about being a deek. Like downstairs, the branding iron.
Oh. I guess before the war, this fraternity held a ritual and they branded themselves on the chest
Uh-huh.
with a K, Delta Kappa Epsilon.
Right.
And I belonged to that fraternity, and it was about time to get operating, so they were going to brand me with a K on the chest, and I said, not me. So I got in without being branded.
Uh-huh. So you were in college then, where, in 1945, 46, 47? When did you graduate?
46 and 47, I guess.
Uh-huh.
I graduated in 48.
Class of 48. I
Yeah.
see. Right, right. And that's when Miami was still the Miami Indians.
Yeah. They become the Redskins.
Talk about the Western College.
What?
Western College.
Western College, that was Western College for women, wasn't it? Right
Yeah,
there.
but then they merged
Yes,
and became a Miami. I don't know what it was called. That was the women's branch of Miami University.
Talk about it. Didn't you date women from Western College?
I dated one woman from Western College.
uh-huh,
Matter of fact, during the summer vacation, she was from Connecticut, I think. And I took a vacation and drove up there to spend a few days, and damn car threw a piston. And so I had to stay there for a while. But that's it.
A hard interview.
Huh?
You're a difficult interview.
What, now, when you got out of college, did you get married right away, or
No, I didn't.
did you work for an accounting firm, or what?
I worked for the Kroger Company.
You worked for the Kroger right here in town?
No,
No?
down in downtown Kroger building.
Yeah, that's what I
30.
mean, here at the Kroger building.
Yeah, I forgot where I was. I'm in Cincinnati, aren't I?
Yeah, we're in Cincinnati. That's right.
Yeah,
That's where the headquarters of Kroger is.
yeah.
Okay.
I worked right there in that building.
All right, very good. How long were you with Kroger, Harry?
35 years.
Wow. How about your experience with Kroger? Anything interesting there? People
No.
you met, things that you did, following the plans for Kroger and so forth?
I got to meet, I don't know whether he's Jake Davis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jacob Davis, sure. Wonderful man.
Yeah. That's about it.
Tell them how many places you worked.
How many
besides
places?
Cincinnati.
Yeah, different places you work for Kroger, different locations.
Charleston, West Virginia, and where else was it?
Well, Logan was born in Charleston, then where'd you go?
Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. And you married a local girl, did you?
Yeah,
West Virginia girl.
West Virginia girl.
Okay. Did you have a family?
One child, and then we adopted one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Then
it.
where'd you go from Pittsburgh?
Huh?
Where'd you go from Pittsburgh?
Cincinnati.
Mm-mm.
Came back to Cincinnati?
No, you didn't. Cleveland.
Huh? Cleveland.
Forget me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. How long were you in Cleveland? I mean, was that a good experience or anything you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I met my wife there and was married there, and everything was hunky-dory.
When you you moved from Milford to New Richmond?
The other way.
That's where I was born, in New Richmond,
You were born in New Richmond,
and moved to Milford.
moved to Milford, okay, and went through, I understand that you went through school there. Where do you live now, Harry?
I live in Cincinnati or Carthage.
Oh, right up the way here.
Yeah,
Oh, I see. And you've lived here ever since the war?
no. No,
I mean, in Cincinnati, you were with Kroger. You were here most of the time in Cincinnati.
no. In Cleveland.
Okay, all right. Well, anything else you can think about that we're missing?
Yeah. Trying to think. Well, did you talk at all about Drexel Institute? Why you were there? Why you were studying?
Well, the Army evidently reviewed their files and picked several, a lot of people, a lot of guys to go to college,
But why?
because they thought the war was going to end soon and they were going to have to rebuild Europe.
Right.
And they were training engineers.
And you were part of that at Drexel,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
That's a fine
that-
engineering school.
yeah, but it didn't last long. The people who were in Drexel already got to finish that year, and those who were finishing that year were transferred to Massachusetts Tech,
Institute.
Oh, MIT.
MIT, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then after we finished there, I was sent to the 84th Division, where I was a gunner. I aimed the mortar
Right.
on the,
81 millimeter.
yeah.
Oh,
Hey, Harry, when you were in Philadelphia, where'd you stay?
Hotel Philadelphia. The Army took over a couple of floors,
right, right.
and that's where we ate. I don't know where in the hell they brought the food from, but
Maybe they cooked it right there in the hotel,
they might have. I don't know. I know we used to slip out and get a snack at Horner's Bakery or Horner's store, and that was pretty good.
huh? Mm-hmm.
So,
You didn't care much for the Army chow, though,
no,
Hey, Harry, tell them about when you would leave from, I found this fascinating, when you would leave from the hotel and go to Drexel, how did you get there?
we marched down Chestnut Street.
huh? Oh, yeah.
And
Every day?
Main
every
drag.
day. And there was an old folks home on Chestnut Street, and we'd stop every morning and salute the old ladies, and then go on to school.
Did you have music to march by?
No, we just,
Cadence count, and that was it, huh?
yeah. Had a good home when I left.
That's right. I thought that was pretty good. And did you march going back to the hotel as well? In the evenings, you have to march back?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
No.
Yeah.
Well, now, I'm trying to help you with this, but after Drexel, you went to Boston, to MIT?
No.
No, you didn't go.
No, that was only those who were graduating or were finishing the senior year at MIT. That,
I see.
He wasn't that far along, so he just had to go overseas.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
the infantry needed fresh blood.
Well, that's war, that's right. Is there anything else that you can tell us about your experience over in Germany? Besides the barn incident and you're getting wounded. Of course, that was the end of your experience over there, right?
Yeah.
When you were wounded, they evacuated you right away?
To England, yeah.
Uh-huh. But up until that point, you talk about crossing the Rhine or the Rhone. Do you remember any of that at all?
I remember being in a basement of a house, and you could hear the Germans walking back and forth on the first floor.
You were hiding in the basement?
Yeah.
They didn't know you were there?
Yeah, no.
For heaven's sake. That was spooky.
Yeah.
Well, how did that come about? I mean, how did that turn out? How did you get out of the basement?
I don't know. They just left.
You mean the Germans left,
Yeah.
and then you left after they...
Yeah.
Okay.
Harry, did you ever have any contact with citizens? You know, people from Holland or Germany? Did you ever talk to regular people?
Yeah, there was. I don't remember their names or even if I ever knew it. People from Holland
Uh-huh.
were very nice to us. So
So you were in Holland then?
yeah,
Part of the time.
part of the time.
Okay.
And I don't know, maybe I said this already, but the one thing that I remember is that I was in a field of cauliflower,
Oh, yeah.
and I liked to eat cauliflower, and I had my fill of it.
How did you cook it?
I didn't cook it, eat it raw.
Ate it raw.
Yeah,
I guess that was good for you, huh?
yeah, I guess.
Well, Harry, you had some really trying times, and I want to congratulate you for your service to your country, and I'm sorry you were wounded, but you certainly have made the most of your life with college and then Kroger and everything.
Yeah,
And you raised your child and your adopted child here in Cincinnati?
my natural child never lived in Cincinnati. Well, he stayed for about a few months
Oh, I see.
here, and then he moved back to Pittsburgh,
Mm-hmm.
with my first wife, and he went to work for Kroger too.
Uh-huh. Is he living in Pittsburgh now?
Yeah,
Okay. And what about it? Did you have your adopted child with you too?
yeah,
Here in Cincinnati.
in Cincinnati.
Okay, all right. So, anything else at all that comes to mind? Any funny experiences with people or anything like that? You said you worked with Jake, what's his name?
Davis.
Jake Davis.
Yeah. I didn't work personally with him, but
I see.
he was the president of Kroger, I think, at that
Right,
time.
I
At
see.
that time.
Okay, okay. Well, listen, it's, again, we want to thank you for your service, and God's been good to you in most ways, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
And you're enjoying life in Carthage, are you?
Enjoy what?
Enjoying life in Carthage here? Is
We
that
went-
where you live now?
Yeah, that's where we live now, but we haven't lived here very long.
I see, okay, all right.
Lived in Glendale before then.
Oh, you were in Glendale too? That's a wonderful community,
Yeah.
I should say. Okay. Well, it's been an honor, sir, to get acquainted with you and speak with you, and I hope that your life goes well and that you have good joy, and it's wonderful to meet your wife. And she certainly is a great help to you, isn't she?
She sure is.
Wow, yeah, that's just wonderful.
With that and $2, I too can buy a cup of coffee.
Oh, we like her sense of humor, and very good.
I knew it was gonna be a hard interview, that's why I knew I was gonna have to prompt him. He doesn't
Well, that
really
was
talk
good.
about those things.
That's been very helpful, and we appreciate that
I hope he didn't.
very much, Mrs. Taylor. That's just wonderful. So thank you very much, sir, and God bless, and we hope things go well for you.
Okay,
Okay, take care.
thank you.
Thank you.